Hello and welcome to episode 28 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast all about the National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. So, we'll jump into a couple of bits of news from around the league. Perhaps the headline one, if you like, is that Ed Bradley, he's left Bristol Pitbulls and gone back to join the Bees. So, big loss there for the Pitbulls, but a good pick-up for the Bees. I'm sure they'll be very happy with having Bradley back with them. Phantoms have announced a couple of signings for over the Christmas period. So Connor McNulty and Torrin Anderson joining them from With This Wild for that Christmas period. Games coming thick and fast, as we'll see when we get to the predictions. So they're just bolstering their roster there with a couple of extra bodies. And I guess this counts now as breaking news, as it was announced within the hour, so recording Christmas Day, just before 1 o'clock, but at midday, Swindon Wildcats have announced the re-signing of Tyler Plews. Apologies, Tyler. He has re-signed for 2024-2025 and the 2025-2026 season. So one of their key defensemen tied up for the next couple of years. So Swindon fans, no doubt you'll be very, very happy with that. The results now. So action started on Thursday night with the Wildcats at home. They took on the Bees and recorded an 8-4 victory over the Bees. Friday night, it was the turn of the Knights and the Seahawks. Knights were at home, and surprisingly, they lost 4-2. The Seahawks picking up a very impressive road victory there. Saturday night, full set of fixtures. We'll start with Wildcats and the Tigers. The Tigers travelled down. 1-1 at the end of first. Disastrous minute at the start of the second period. 3 goals in just over a minute from the Wildcats, put them in firm control of the game. Perhaps a glimmer of hope when, in the third period, Gail Lubway picked up a 5+ game for kneeing, giving the Tigers a 5-minute power play. They scored twice on that, but were still 2 goals adrift at that point. It was not to be, though. The Wildcats added a couple more goals to run out 7-3 victors in that game. Other games, so the Raiders hosted the Sharks. Very close one, this one. It took overtime to separate them. The Sharks winning 5-4 on the road. So really good win for them there with a team who sort of around where they are in the league. Seahawks and the Knights went again. This time the Seahawks were at home. The Knights got revenge. Boy, did they get revenge. They won, but not only did they win, they shut the Seahawks out on home ice. Seahawks 0, Knights 5. That is quite a comeback from the previous night. Yeah, I think maybe the moral there is if you're playing Leeds back-to-back, they're at home first, don't beat them on home ice because otherwise they might just go to your ice and shut you out. Very capable of doing that kind of stuff. Steel Dogs hosted the Bees. Tight game this one, but the Bees ran out 3-2 victors, so a win on the road there for the Bees. And last but not least, the Pitbulls hosted the Lightning. Perhaps no great surprise that the Lightning won it. However, they also recorded a shutout as they won 7-0 at Bristol. Moving on, but just before I do, in terms of result of the weekend, the Knights losing at home was a surprise to one under the Seahawks, but I think I'm going to have to give it to the Knights for bouncing back the following night as shutting out the Seahawks on home ice. So I'll go for that as result of the weekend. Moving on to the upcoming week, the festive period. The games come thick and fast is the only way of putting it. There are just games from Boxing Day right the way through to New Year's Day. Every single day has got at least a game. So I know normally I look to pick out sort of the fixtures to look out for or something such as that. But I've had a look down and most of them are well worth picking out, I think. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to run through the fixtures and give my predictions. So starting on Boxing Day, the Wildcats host the Pitbulls. I'm going to go for the Wildcats to win this one. I know the Pitbulls are a bit of a bogey team for the Wildcats, but I think the Wildcats will win, certainly on home ice. Bees host the Raiders. Tight one down towards the bottom of the league. Bees are perhaps just seeing a bit of an upturn again in their fortune, so I'll go for the Bees to win on home ice. And the Knights host the Sharks. Knights to win that one. And reasonably comfortably, I will say. 27th of December. Tigers host the Knights. I'd love to say a home win, but being realistic, I can't see anything other than a Knights win for that one. So Knights to win at Tigers. Pitbulls host the Wildcats. The return fixture from Boxing Day. It's a tough one. Everything sort of says Wildcats should win, but the Pitbulls seem to keep on being able to turn them over. But I'm going to go for a Wildcats win. It's going to be closer than Boxing Day, but the Wildcats will win at Bristol. Raiders host the Bees. Again, another turnaround from the previous night. I'm going to go for a Raiders win, but it's going to be overtime. They're just going to pip it on home ice. Phantoms host the Lightning. Phantoms to win that one. And Sharks host the Seahawks. Seahawks to win up in Solway. 28th of December, Steel Dogs host the Tigers. I'm going to be optimistic here and say a Tigers win. Might take overtime, but we'll beat the Steel Dogs. Hopefully. I'd like to be a bit more confident, but no, I'm going to go for it. Tigers to win up in Sheffield. Also on the 28th, the Lightning host the Phantoms. I'll go for the Lightning to win on home ice. 29th of December, Wildcats host the Seahawks. It's an interesting matchup, but I will go for the Wildcats to win that one. They're going to pip the Seahawks. Goal, maybe 2 in it, I think. 30th of December, Sharks host the Tigers. It's a long journey for the Tigers, but it's going to be an away win. The Tigers will win up in Solway, is my prediction. Pitbulls host the Bees. Interesting clash towards the bottom of the league. Bees to win this one, though, on the road and pick up the 2 points. Wildcats host the Lightning. It's going to go to penalty shots. There we are. It's going to go to penalty shots. Either could win that one. But yeah, it's going to be decided by penalty shots. I'm not going to pick a winner. I'm just going to say it's going to go to penalty shots. That's my prediction. Knights host the Steel Dogs. Knights to win that one. And Raiders host the Phantoms. Phantoms to record an away win there. 31st of December. Bees host the Pitbulls. Bees to win that one. Steel Dogs host the Knights. Knights to win that one. And Seahawks host the Sharks. Seahawks to win that one. Last but certainly not least, it's the 1st of January 2024. The Lightning host the Wildcats. And I'm going to go for the Lightning to win that one on home ice. And the Phantoms host the Raiders. Again, a home win. Phantoms to win that. So, there's my predictions for the busy Christmas and New Year period. As always, let me know what you think of my predictions. Look forward to reading them. Look forward to hearing about them. Until next time, bye for now.